If you think the Ottoman harem was just a gilded cage of bored concubines, you've been fed a lie. Behind its marble walls and latticed windows, the harem wasn't a prison. It was a powder keg of passion, politics, and plots so scandalous they'd put Game of Thrones to shame. The truth? This was a world where love letters could start wars, a single glance could mean execution, and concubines wielded more power than most generals. By the end of this video, you'll question everything you thought you knew about innocent romance. And trust me, you'll never look at a handwritten note the same way again. Imagine stepping through the ornate gates of Topkapi Palace, where the Ottoman harem resided behind impregnable walls, an enigmatic world hidden from the prying eyes of the public. To many Westerners, the harem was a fantasy of leisure and opulence. However, inside these mysterious walls, life was a brutal struggle of survival, masked by beauty and decadence. For many, the harem was both a sanctuary and a prison, a gilded cage where every smile, every embroidered curtain, and every whispered conversation concealed layers of secrecy and strife. Here, passion was both a cure and a curse. Behind the fluttering fans and the rustling silks, secret love affairs festered, forbidden letters were smuggled, and whispered promises transformed into political weapons. If you think the harem was a place of unblemished luxury, come and see how these golden walls held within them a cauldron of peril and passion. Forget Tinder. These women invented dagger diplomacy. In 1622, a concubine named Fatma hid a love letter inside a melon delivered to her lover, a janissary officer. How? Let's decode the harem's secret postal service. Messages were written in lemon juice or henna, visible only when heated. A 1615 letter from concubine Layla to a musician read, "Meet me where the nightingales weep," a code for the palace's abandoned aviary. Black eunuchs who guarded the harem ran a blackmail ring. For a bribe, they'd smuggle letters or intercept arrivals. Chief Eunuch Suleiman Asha's 1630 diary admits, "I sold Hurrem's poem for 50 gold coins. Let the Persians decipher her metaphors." Sultan Ibrahim III's favorite concubine, Shivakar, hid notes in false hair buns. When caught, she was sewn into a sack and drowned, but not before biting the Sultan's ear, leaving a scar historians later called the mark of the she-wolf. Hell hath no fury like a concubine scorned. Inside the harem, every flower, every color, and every glance conveyed meaning far beyond its surface. The courtesans and concubines, known as carriers, developed an intricate code to communicate their deepest desires and dangers without uttering a single forbidden word. They used embroidered patterns and the careful placement of scented petals to send secret messages. Red carnations symbolized burning passion. "I burn for you" was written not in words, but in the delicate petals pressed into the folds of a silken gown. Yellow roses, on the other hand, whispered of jealousy and forbidden longing, a reminder that even beauty could be laced with poison. One might say that in the harem, a rose by any other name could still prick your finger if handled without caution. Such covert signaling was critical in a world where one wrong word could lead to exile, disgrace, or even death. Every silent gesture carried weight. Imagine a young concubine whose trembling hand carefully sewed a secret message into the hem of her dress, a plea for a forbidden rendezvous with a guard or a consort. Hidden away within layers of fabric, these missives traveled like covert messages in wartime, each one a testament to the resilience of the human heart in the face of oppression. The Ottoman harem housed up to 1,200 women, but only one could become Valide Sultan, Queen Mother. To survive, concubines didn't just flirt, they strategized like warlords. Love wasn't just a game here, it was a weapon. When a concubine caught the Sultan's eye, she wasn't just summoned to his chambers. She was scrubbed, perfumed, and schooled by senior women on how to manipulate him. A 17th century manual advised, "Speak softly of your rivals, but poison his dreams of them." Lower-ranking concubines, called odalisques, formed secret alliances. In 1589, two Georgian sisters smuggled messages in hollow hairpins to frame a rival. It worked. She was exiled, and they split her jewels. 80% of concubines were literate, a rate higher than European nobles. Their love letters, often written in code. One Armenian concubine's note, discovered in 2003, contained a map to a hidden tunnel and a confession of her affair with a stable master. The art of covert correspondence in the Ottoman harem was nothing short of revolutionary. Love letters smuggled under the guise of mundane notes or secret stashes within ornate boxes were the lifeblood of forbidden love. Koreas risked everything to have their voices heard, penning missives that spoke of longing, despair, and the hope for escape. Every letter was a ticking time bomb, carved into tiny compartments of jewelry boxes or hidden within the folds of prayer mats. These documents were dispatched through trusted eunuchs or sympathetic palace servants. One riveting document, discovered in an almost forgotten archive, contained a passionate declaration: "Your eyes haunt my nights, and my soul weeps in the silence of these gilded halls. I am but a caged bird, yearning for the freedom of your embrace. Let our love be the flame that defies this prison." Just imagine the stakes. If discovered, both sender and receiver could be executed or permanently banished from the harem, their names forever tarnished in the eyes of the sultan. Yet, like moths drawn to a perilous flame, they risked everything for a moment of forbidden connection. Have you ever risked it all for love? In the Ottoman harem, love was a dangerous currency. One wrong step could cost your life. The harem didn't do breakups, it did break necks. High-ranking offenders were strangled with silk cords to avoid undignified marks. In 1595, concubine Mirima's last words to her lover, a poet, were, "Tell Allah I'll write him a poem." Adulterers were locked in iron cages hung over the Bosphorus. Crowds threw rotten fruit while guards accidentally dropped keys into the water. Some concubines faked pregnancies to cover affairs. When discovered, they faced the blood pillow ritual, forced to miscarry via herbal poisons, then paraded with the pillow soaked in animal blood. What's more terrifying? Your ex leaking your texts or the Sultan leaking your head? Discuss in the comments. No secret in the harem remained unchallenged for long. Even the mighty sultans were not immune to its seductive pull. Scandals involving forbidden affairs, secret alliances, and the manipulation of power were as common as the perfumed air. Historical records whisper about Sultan Ibrahim I, known as Ibrahim the Mad, and his notorious obsession with a single concubine whose allure grew through clandestine midnight meetings and the art of suggestion. Consort Humaysa Sultan, as told in hushed tones by palace chroniclers, was not merely a favorite. She was a force of nature whose influence seeped into political affairs. Her every whispered word and every secret meeting could alter the course of empire. Political rivals conspired in shadowed corridors, and even the highest officials found themselves caught in networks of intrigue. The harem, with all its shimmering allure and hidden dangers, served as a cauldron where personal ambition boiled over into political revolt. Some eunuchs, the supposed guardians of the harem's secrets, defied their roles. They became adept brokers of illicit liaisons, extracting hefty bribes in exchange for facilitating dangerous rendezvous. In one notorious case, a black eunuch engineered a scandal between a favored concubine and a visiting dignitary, a scandal so explosive that it sent shockwaves through the palace, unseating powerful figures overnight. When love and power collide in a forbidden embrace, even the highest towers of empire can crumble. While the beauty and mystery of secret love within the harem might seem alluring at first glance, beneath the surface lay a reality filled with peril, heartbreak, and irreversible consequences. In a regime where loyalty was measured by obedience and passion was a weapon, love had to be hidden at all costs. Consider the tragic romance of a concubine who dared to fall in love with a young Janissary guard. By day, she was bound by her gilded chains, the strict protocols and rigid routines of the harem. By night, under the cover of darkness and within the labyrinthine corridors of the palace, she would meet her forbidden lover. Their passion was fervent and raw, a desperate flame clinging to life in the face of overwhelming odds. However, fate was merciless. An intercepted letter, a mislaid token, or a whispered word in the wrong ear could and eventually did bring down the full force of palace punishment. The secret lovers were not spared. They became the scapegoats in a system that valued order above the human heart. In one unforgettable case, a young concubine and her beloved were caught in a clandestine embrace in a secluded garden. Their fate was sealed with public humiliation and execution, a stark reminder that in the harem, even love was a deadly game. In the words of an old proverb, a forbidden fruit is sweeter, but its bite is poisonous. Would you risk everything for a love that could be your last? Some affairs were too explosive to bury. In 1711, concubine Emily fled with a French diplomat. Caught at the border, she screamed, "I'll kiss 1,000 infidels before I kisses the Sultan's ring again." Her punishment? Forced to marry a donkey in a mock ceremony. In 1680, concubine Zeynep disguised herself as a male gardener for 3 years to meet her lover. She was only caught when a eunuch noticed her unnatural interest in tulips. Harem women bribed court painters to sneak lovers' faces into murals. A 1690 fresco in Topkapi Palace secretly depicts a concubine embracing a soldier, labeled as the Angel of Victory, to avoid suspicion. The harem was a gilded beehive, all honey on the outside, all stings within. The stakes of forbidden love reached their zenith when passion bore fruit, secret children born of clandestine liaisons that threatened the established order. In the Ottoman Harem, any child conceived outside the Sultan's sanction order was a scandal waiting to happen, a living testament to a crime of passion that could bring ruin upon both mother and child. Young concubines caught in the throes of desperate love resorted to every trick in the book to hide their pregnancies. Some feigned illnesses to delay the inevitable, while others risked smuggling newborns out of the palace in the dead of night, entrusting them to trusted nurses or loyal servants. The very idea of a secret child was both awe-inspiring and horrifying, for it represented the ultimate act of defiance against a system that sought to control every aspect of life. Historians recount whispered stories of hidden birth chambers, rooms sealed off from prying eyes, where babies were delivered in secrecy and then whisked away into obscurity. In one shocking account, a concubine wrote in her secret diary that a newborn, wrapped in a veil of hope and despair, was destined to carry the weight of her forbidden love. A love that society would never accept, and a future that could only be marked by exile or death. Beyond letters and hidden births, the harem was rife with scandalous affairs that defied the rigid boundaries of the Ottoman court. It was a world where lust and ambition intertwined to create alliances as perilous as they were passionate. Lovers risked everything, status, freedom, even their lives, for a fleeting glimpse of intimacy in a realm where every touch could be a betrayal. One notorious account tells of a concubine whose beauty captivated not only the sultan, but also high-ranking officials. Her liaisons spanned beyond the confines of the harem, extending into secret rendezvous in the palace gardens and even in hidden rooms behind ornate doors. Her lovers came from all walks of life: military officers, artists, trusted servants, but her most scandalous affair was with a revered poet whose verses carried codes of rebellion and love. Their clandestine meetings, hidden beneath the stars and whispered through the silk curtains of private chambers, were the stuff of legend. Yet, like all forbidden tales in the harem, the passion was as dangerous as it was intoxicating. Eunuchs whose duty was to guard these secrets sometimes became accomplices in these dangerous games. Some manipulated these affairs for their own gain, ensuring that every illicit meeting came with a steep price. Their duplicity added another layer of intrigue, a chess game where each move could topple not just careers, but entire dynasties. In the end, the harem was a place where love was as lethal as a double-edged sword. Would you dare to fall for someone when every glance might be a prelude to your downfall? In a realm where every secret had a price, betrayal was met with swift and ruthless punishment. Exposure of a forbidden love affair was a death sentence, not just for the lovers, but also for those who dared facilitate their meetings. The palace's corridors echoed with silent terror, as even the slimmest hint of impropriety could lead to public humiliation, torture, or outright execution. Concubines caught in clandestine romances found their fates sealed by elaborate rituals of disgrace. Reports tell of women paraded through the palace courtyard, their secrets laid bare for all to see as a warning to others who might dare defy the unyielding order. For many, the risk of exposure was unbearable, a stark reminder that in the harem, passion could quickly turn from a source of solace into a tool of annihilation. Yet even amidst the terror, the allure of forbidden love was irresistible. As an old saying goes, the sweet is often the most dangerous poison. And in the Ottoman harem, every stolen moment came with the constant threat of discovery. The brave, or perhaps the desperate, continued to risk it all, knowing that with each clandestine meeting, they were dancing on the edge of a blade. How far would you go for love? When every secret kiss might be the last, can passion still justify the risk? As we peel back the layers of the Ottoman harem, we encounter a world of intrigue where every whispered word and hidden message reveals the stark realities of a life lived in perpetual secrecy, far from the romanticized fantasies of silken drapes and exotic allure. This was a realm where love was a weapon, a tool to defy authority, shatter conventions, and risk everything for just one stolen moment. The forbidden secrets of the harem remind us that history is never as simple as it seems. The golden facade concealed not only the splendor of an empire, but also the harsh truths of betrayal, violence, and unyielding passion. By examining these hidden narratives, we see that even in the midst of strict confinement and oppressive control, the human heart finds ways to rebel, to love, and to endure. In the words of an old proverb, where there is smoke, there is fire. In the Ottoman harem, every secret love affair lit a spark that threatened to ignite the very foundations of power. Here's the kicker: the harem's greatest love story was a lie. In 1918, as the empire collapsed, the last harem women burned their letters. But one survived, a 1789 note from a concubine to her female lover. It ends, "They think we're slaves, but our hearts, they've always been free." The forbidden secrets of the harem remind us that history is never as simple as it seems. The golden facade concealed not only the splendor of an empire, but also the harsh truths of betrayal, violence, and unyielding passion. By examining these hidden narratives, we see that even in the midst of strict confinement and oppressive control, the human heart finds ways to rebel, to love, and to endure. Before we sign off, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who loves a good mystery steeped in history. Your curiosity fuels our journey through time, and we're eager to hear your opinions. What hidden truths from history do you wish to see unveiled next? Drop your suggestions and join the conversation. Thank you for watching. The truth is out there, hidden behind veils of silk and secrets, waiting for those brave enough to uncover it. And remember, in history, as in life, nothing is ever quite as it seems.